Hey there, friends. Hank here with some breaking news from the wonderful world of scale modeling. And this one is odd. So, every day or so, I'll pop onto Sprue Brothers and check out the new arrivals list to see what kits are hitting the market, see if there's anything worth picking up or worth sharing with you guys, of course. And last night before bed, I took a quick peek, and one of the items listed really caught my attention. This 1/72nd scale kit from the folks over at Special Hobby. This is their Titan world-famous research and tourist submarine. Huh. Now, unless you somehow managed to miss it last year, in June of 2023, an experimental submersible designed, owned, and operated by the underwater exploration and tourism company OceanGate suffered a catastrophic hull failure and subsequent implosion during a dive to the Titanic wreck site, resulting in the deaths of all 5 passengers aboard the vessel. This was major international news for quite some time and continues to prompt debate and discourse over safety protocols and regulations regarding deep-sea commercial expeditions, and I'm sure it will continue to do so for years to come. So, to see that somebody had released a scale model of this ill-fated ship was a bit surprising, especially just a year after the incident took place. And then I looked into this a bit further, and it turns out that this kit was first made available at IPMS Nationals in August last year, just a month after the Titan disaster. So, let's talk about this. Now, this news video is coming out now, obviously, because I just learned about it, and because this kit just hit the digital shelves this week. There are only a couple videos about this on YouTube, so I'll make the assumption that most folks on here are also just learning about this now. When I first saw this, my thought was, wow, this is probably not a great idea. Yes, this was international news. Yes, this was a huge deal, but it's an extremely controversial vessel, and it just killed 5 people, 5 civilians, people on vacation last year. And for this kit to be released just a month after the incident very much seems to be capitalizing on a tragedy. But I want to hear what you all have to say about this, so please do discuss down in the comments below. Let's play this out a bit. I make a living building and painting and discussing military scale models. These are vehicles, pieces of equipment that have both been responsible for and have seen the deaths of thousands and thousands of people throughout history. It's true. Let's take the B-17, for example. About 5,000 of these ships were lost during combat in World War II, and as many as 600,000 civilians in Germany alone are believed to have been killed by strategic bombing campaigns during the course of the war. There's a tremendous human toll that's inherently intertwined with the story of these vehicles. But the way that I see it, there are 2 significant differences here between these, for example, and this Titan model. The first of which is time. Now, the World War II gear that I work on, the stories that I try and tell, saw action and took place about 80 years ago. And the Vietnam War projects I take on, for example, about 50 plus years ago. We've had time to collectively process and learn about these events and reflect on how they've come to change this world that we're all living in. This Titan incident is very fresh. Very new, and the conversation is still very much taking shape. Now, I say that, caveat here, I have worked on some contemporary projects. I painted up an M1 Abrams in Ukrainian markings, for example, when the news came out that those would be deployed over there as a sort of what-if scheme. That's a contemporary and relevant event, right? So our first question here is, I suppose, is this too soon? What is considered capitalizing on a tragedy or conflict, and what is considered commemorating it or commenting on it, let's say? But the big difference here, in my opinion, is this second big hang-up. It's the fact that this Titan tragedy affected only civilians. Stockton Rush, the company's co-founder, the pilot of the vessel, as well as the 4 paying customers on board, were just regular folks. These are folks that paid money, more than most of us will ever see in a lifetime for this trip, sure, but civilians. These were folks that signed up for a vacation experience, not to go to war. We could go back and forth all day about the risks of taking such a trip and whatever waivers they may or may not have signed. I don't know all the details. But these folks met their untimely end in a genuinely terrifying way just last year. And now we've got a scale model of it. Sure, scale models of the Titanic are super popular. I built one, but again, the Titanic disaster was over 100 years ago. We've had time to learn and process about the tragedy of this all. I personally don't love the idea of a Titan model coming out a month after this took place, but again, who am I to say what's alright and what isn't? Ultimately, that's up for the consumer base to decide, I guess. I don't know about Special Hobby. I don't have experience with their kits, I will say, but looking at the rest of their lineup on Sprue Brothers, for example, it's all military aircraft. This is very much an exception. I don't really get it. It's a weird choice. I don't know who they made this model for. But again, I want to know what you guys think, so please do discuss down in the comments. Am I overthinking this? And did you have the same gut reaction that I did? And is there a statute of limitations on the subject of scale models? Let me know. I'm going to get back to the bench and build something old, my happy place. But in the meantime, thank you for watching, my friends, and until next time, be well, happy building. Cheers.